Yo, what's up, everybody? It's your boy again. This is DYL Talks Sports. We're back after a little hiatus after football season. Really excited about the Eagles and stuff, and kind of trying to figure out where we should go with this. So, DYL Talks Sports developing into more of a talk show. We're just going to talk about things, talk about basketball, talk about the NHL Four Nations. I'll get more on the soccer soon, but right now it's going to be an NBA second half kind of breakdown prediction, what I think is going to happen, what I expect to see, and then talk a little bit about the Four Nations with the USA and Canada, and that's how we do it. So, like always, we always start with the episode. So, we're rocking with the Rodzilla today, purely based on rewatching The Last Dance, man. Just the inspiration that you get from MJ and the true GOAT. No matter what you LeBron dick riders say. So let's dive right into the episode, and we'll go from there. So I just want to start off this whole episode with kind of talk about what I was talking about. So, watching The Last Dance again, kind of watching how MJ kind of developed, and just his aura he had, and this this drive, this will to be great, and this want to be better and make everyone around him better. And I see that. I've watched Last Dance probably 10 times now, just because I love the inspiration from it. And I think a lot of people could watch it, even if you like MJ, don't like MJ, and kind of get that mentality, that mindset that you need. You don't realize that everything you need is right here in the mind. But this is DYL Talk Sports. This is my motivational, but got a motivational page if you're looking for that as well. But you saw how Michael Jordan carried himself, his aura. The impact he had. How many people, if you saw Michael Jordan, I want to meet Michael Jordan. I don't get that same sense from LeBron, to be honest. And this isn't a LeBron hate kind of YouTube video, but it is in a way. After what I saw over the weekend at the All-Star game, I lost a lot of respect for the dude. I already didn't really like him. I kind of already thought he was for himself. And he kind of proved that even more this weekend, especially at the All-Star game. Waiting until the day of the actual game to say that he's not playing so he can keep his all-star record or whatever and not give someone else an opportunity. I think that's really disgusting and cheap, and I think that's really my antithesis why I don't like LeBron. I think he's always been about himself. I mean, just look at the picture with the team. He couldn't even throw on a jersey to take team pictures with this team. I don't know, man. He's just very selfish and very for himself, and I'm just not about that. And people are going to argue and watch, be like, oh, well, Michael Jordan was for himself. He actually wasn't, man. He just wanted everyone to win with him. And he might have had to be a D-bag or a tyrant or whatever they call it, but that's what you need to be great. And you need that greatness to push you to be there. If you see someone working just as hard and, they're a tyrant and don't like you, but that's greatness. I mean, you could say the same about Tom Brady. You could say the same about Kobe. You could say the same about Tiger, man. These aren't things that I would say about LeBron. The more he exposed himself. People want to talk about the NBA, why the ratings are down, all this stuff. And my answer to that would be because of LeBron. He has, he started the super team. People don't want to admit that. He started the super team bullshit. He started this load management bullshit. So that's two things. Like Kawhi, Kawhi's not one to talk because he always sits out. But LeBron's the one that started this whole shit, and it just ruined the whole NBA. I mean, all these 3-pointers, all this stuff, it's unfortunate to see, man, because my friends all think, some of my friends think LeBron's the best ever, and this, that, and the other thing. And every time I watch him, man, he just does something that I just don't think is okay. I mean, the All-Star game was kind of the straw that broke the camel's back. I just think that's weak. You're that worried about your record that you couldn't give someone that's probably have a once-in-a-lifetime opportunity to be an All-Star. You couldn't say, I'm not going to play so he could have the opportunity because you're LeBron and you got to have this record. Fuck you, dude. Honestly, you're so fucking mid. You're a great front. LeBron is the number one front runner. Him and Dak are very similar. They're not even in the same stratosphere of GOAT tiers. Don't get me wrong on that. But when things are going good for LeBron, he's probably one of the best ever. He's unbeatable. But if things start going away from him, he does not have that dog to come back. I've seen it time and time again, man. And this All-Star shit is just disgusting, man. It's really weak, and it just proves that he's an egomaniac that's soft and scared. Michael Jordan would never, playing on a hurt knee when he's fucking 40-something. I know LeBron's 42, but, 40 as well. But, come on, man. You get paid millions of dollars to do this. You're never going to be better than MJ. I mean, you have 6 losses in the finals. I don't care who you played. fucking excuse. So what about the Mavericks loss? Is that not a count? Spurs doesn't count. No, it's whatever. But we just forget about these losses because he's won 4 championships. Wham, like same. And the thing with the Warriors, like yeah, they were stacked up, but LeBron, you are the one that did this shit. I don't want to hear that it was other people. You are the one that did this shit. You're the one that fucked everything up. So stop bitching and moaning. Honestly, I'm sick and tired of it, and I'm sick and tired of people giving him slack. So that's just my first little rant on the first part of this video about that, because I just lost a lot of respect that day. And I've said that if there's athletes that I saw around, like if there's any athletes that I truly want to meet, MJ and Tiger Woods are number 1 and 2. MJ is number 1 because he's the GOAT, and then Tiger, and then probably Tom, because they just have aura, man. I don't think LeBron has that same aura that these other dudes do. I really don't. I think he wants to, but I don't think he has that same desire. Like, I don't know if I've ever been to a LeBron game in person, and do I really care? Not really, man. He doesn't do that for me. I think he's weak mentally. I like what he's about. He does good things in the community, all that stuff, but in basketball stuff, he has ruined the NBA as we know it today, and that's why the ratings are so down. As much as people don't want to admit it, him and Adam Silver. Adam Silver's another story. I think Adam Silver's a terrible commissioner. I don't know how he got the job. There's a lot of people that I also wonder how they got the job, but I just don't see it. So that's my little 6-minute rant on that. So let's dive into the actual second half predictions and kind of stuff with that. So All-Star Weekend was last weekend. Doesn't do anything for me anymore. Mac McClung, 3-time dunk contest champ. I mean, he had some really cool dunks, and he's balling, and that's really dope and stuff. But we got to. If the NBA wants to revive their product, they got to get Ant in there. They got to get John there. They got to get Zion in there. They got to get actual players in there that are superstars in the league, that are pushing the league forward. I mean, unfortunately, a lot of the superstars in the league are slow white European dudes. Jokic, Luka are 2 examples, but like, we can't get them in the All-Star game, but we need in the dunk contest. But we need stars that are flashy stars to get in the game, because if not, your product's going to continue to die, and it's going to be over for you guys. And I just, it's sad to see. So didn't watch the 3-point contest, didn't watch really anything, didn't watch the All-Star game. I thought the format was a little better with the tournament stuff. I honestly did, but they still just don't play as hard as I feel like they should. You go back to Kobe's era and MJ's era, and they're playing hard, man. And again, who's responsible for them not playing that hard? LeBron, because he doesn't take things serious, and it's what it is. So, enough bashing LeBron. That was just my take on that. I'd love for you guys to talk to me in the comments about it, because I it's truly something I'm passionate about. I don't think, if you really watch LeBron's progression, it's really showed, it's been beneficial towards the NBA. So let's dive in. Let's look at the East first. So right now in the East, we got the Cavs at 44-10 in first place, and then the Celtics at 39-16. Knicks 36-18, and then the rest of the teams. Pistons right now are in the playoffs without the play-in, which I think is awesome for them. Orlando's at 7, which I think is a team that, Paulo Banchero was out for a while, so I think that's a team that you should be worried about, because they're going to elevate up. But there's some shitty teams there. We got the fucking Bulls, who stink, and I don't know what's happened with them since MJ left. They just can't get a good fucking GM or anything. So, but my East prediction, man, I think the East is very open. I think people think the Celtics are kind of going to run away with it again, because, they got the best team. They probably do have the best team. I mean, Tatum is a bully. Jaylen Brown's a bully. Derek White's a bully. Porzingis is good. Drew Holiday's very good. Joe Mazzulla is a great coach. I'm probably missing a few people, but they're a very, very good team. And, I think Cleveland, they went away from J.B. Bickerstaff this offseason with Kenny Atkinson. And I always thought Kenny Atkinson was a decent coach, just because he was the Nets coach when the Nets didn't have much. So, I think that Cleveland's a good team, and they could surprise a lot of people. I think the East is very wide open. I mean, Milwaukee, if they could figure some things out. I'm not a big Doc Rivers guy. I think he's a very overrated coach. I think Milwaukee could make some noise, but Orlando's a team, if they're completely healthy and they could make a push into the 4 or 5 seed, I think they could make some noise. I think last year they learned a lot and kind of figured out how to play together and all that. And I think Banchero is one of the most underrated players in the NBA. Never gets talked about because he's Orlando, but he's a bully. I mean, he's a bona fide star, and that's how it's going to go. I really think the conference finals in the East is wide open. Like I said, I don't really think there's anyone that's really proved to me that they're the best team. So we'll see from there. And then let's go to the Western Conference and kind of dive deep into that. So, Western Conference's leader is Oklahoma City, 44-10, same as Cleveland. They've been doing it all year, and they've been really proving that they're a force to be reckoned with in the West. But I'm just not sold on them, man. I'm not sold on Shai. I think the way he plays is a lot like James Harden, and he's a foul baiter. Just look at his free throw attempts per game. It's one of the highest in the NBA. And I'm not saying he's not getting fouled, but he's also baiting for fouls. And I'm not a fan of how he plays like that. And I see Memphis in second. I think Memphis is a scary team if they can stay healthy. Ja sometimes finds a way to get hurt and not be healthy. But the real team that I'm afraid of, and maybe it's a Denver bias for me because I'm from Colorado, but it's the Nuggets, man. They should have a 4-time MVP, which let's tangent on this talk about the MVP race. If they don't give it to Jokic because of voter fatigue or whatever, they're tripping, man. The dude is averaging 30, 13, and 10. 30, 13, and 10. He probably only shoots like 5 free throws a game, if that. So you give him the amount of free throws that Shai has, he's probably 40, 15, and 12, I would say. No question. This dude is the best player in the world. No matter what you guys want to think, no matter what the NBA is trying to not push for him because he's, some slow white Serbian dude from Serbia. This dude's the truth, man. You see what the Nuggets have been doing once Jamal Murray started playing good again. I think he's finally kind of getting back from that injury that I think last year is where he was slowed down. I think that injury was still lingering a little bit, and he didn't really trust himself fully. And I think now he's finally getting healthy to feels where he needs to be. And I think the Nuggets, as long as Jamal goes, are going to go. Jokic is going to do his thing. He's the best player in the NBA. Going to be a 4-time MVP. Should probably be a 5-time MVP, 5 times in a row. Finals MVP championship 2 years ago. So that's the team I think is going to win the West. It might be biased. I might have the bias towards it, but I really think they're going to win the West. The other team that I'd be scared of if I was the Thunder is the Lakers, unfortunately. And I'm not a big LeBron guy, so that's why I'm not sold as much on the Lakers. And I think they also got worse on defense because who's going to guard Jokic and who's going to guard Chet Holmgren on the Thunder, and who's going to guard all these big boys? The Rockets got Sengun. If it's 4 or 5 right now, they got Sengun. So, Luka is a big pickup for them offensively, and I love Luka, and I've always liked Luka, but I just think, when you see him in press conferences now, he kind of just looks defeated, man. He looks really hurt about what they did to him, and completely fair. What the Dallas Mavericks did to him is dirty work. I cannot believe they did that. I don't know who the fuck they think they are, but those are the 2 teams I'd be scared to play. Denver's coming back. They only have 9 losses more than the Thunder, which is a lot, but they've also been in and out of injuries all year. Jamal Murray's finally getting back to shape and kind of where he is. The only downfall with the Nuggets is I think their bench. I think in the playoffs, so you got Russ, who's a proven playoff player, is going to play consistently, and you know what you're going to get from the other ones. That's the only thing I'm worried about is the other players, the younger guys, Peyton Watson, Strother, all them. But they were in Rising Stars, so I think that's going to elevate them and show that they're a good enough team. So I really think Denver's going to win the West. The East is pretty wide open. For the predictions, we're going to go with, we're going to go with the Cavs. I want to go out on a limb here and we're going to go with the Nuggets and the Cavs. I think that's the finals. I think the Nuggets end up overall winning the championship. I just think they're the best team, man. I really think they deserve it. And it's not about deserving, but they just got Jokic. And if Jamal plays halfway decent, MPJ's been playing really well. Aaron Gordon, is always a threat. And Christian Braun's actually surprised me a lot this year, averaging 15. So can't hate on that. So we're going to go with that for the thing. But let's talk a little bit about the 76ers. What a fucking disgusting organization and a joke of a franchise. Joel Embiid's missed as many games as he's played in his NBA career. And I'm not saying he didn't have some bad injuries early on and stuff, but man, it just looks like they got a lot of players that don't give a fuck, and that's not a team you want. Paul George barely plays this year, Embiid's barely playing. I think they got to blow up those dudes and get them out of there. I think Tyrese Maxey's the truth. I think Jared McCain can be the truth. I think they got a good young core that they could build around, but you got to get the value where you can with them because I think they're both kind of done and they don't really care as much as they should. So. That's that scope. For the most improved player, I'd go Jalen Williams maybe. I don't think Jalen Williams gets the love that he does. He's on the Thunder, the other guard next to Shai because all they do is talk about Shai. But I think Jalen Williams might be a better player than Shai, honestly. If he had the possessions, he got the fouls that Shai does. I think he's averaging about the same points per game. So we'll see there. Coach of the year. I mean, you got to look at the Cavs, man. I mean, they're 44-10 and first in the East. I mean, Oklahoma City. You could also argue that their coach is really good, but I think you do got to argue the Cleveland Cavaliers have the best improvement, or even on a second hand, I'd say Detroit. Detroit is 3 games above 500. Cade Cunningham is a bona fide superstar. No one talks about him as well because he doesn't foul bait. He just pure basketball, pure hoops. So really love that. Really, really love what's going on there. So I could see that happening. 6th man of the year, I can't give you an answer because I don't really know. But defensive player of the year, you almost got to go with Wemby, I think. I think Wemby's just, I was kind of wrong about Wemby. And that's another team. How far down are they in the West? The Spurs. Wow. The Spurs are pretty far down there in the West. But I think the Spurs, if they could sneak into the playoffs, they could be a scary team. I think De'Aaron Fox is really, really good. I think Wemby, of course, is very, very good. Popovich, of course, a proven coach. The only downfall with that team is I think Chris Paul. I think he's a cancer to the team. I think his attitude is very me. He gets a lot of assists, but I think his attitude is very me. So, I'm really looking forward to the second half of the NBA. I'm going to watch a lot more games now that the NFL's over and kind of see where the Nuggets go and kind of see what happens with things. But really excited to see what happens with that. I think it's going to be a great year for a lot of people and a lot of things. So, excited for everything coming along, and I appreciate all you joining along and continue this journey. And I said I'm going to talk about the 4 nations, so that's the second half of this video. So let's just throw up the 4 nations real quick. So 4 nations is Canada, USA, Finland, Sweden. It was really a 2-man race between USA and Canada. We got the championship game coming up, I think, on Thursday. The first matchup went to the United States, maybe US and fucking A. After the Canadians booed our national anthem. Hey, fuck y'all, motherfuckers. You need us. We don't need y'all. They want to boo because we do all this, whatever. I'm not going to get political in here. They can do what they want, and it's their right. But don't think we're not going to come with some vengeance and beat y'all ass. So it's tough that Brady Kachuk got hurt for the Thursday game. That's a big loss for USA, but I think the USA is going to do it. They've just proven that they're the youngest team in the field. They got that heart. They got that drive. I mean, Finland and Sweden had kind of an opportunity to, kind of make a difference, but Canada wasn't going to be beat. I mean, they got McKinnon, MVP, McDavid, MVP, Cal McCarr, I think MVP. So they got a lot of goats on Canada, and of course they got Sidney Crosby still, young. You're not the youngest fried chicken no more, but he's still Sidney Crosby. He's still the GOAT. So USA is going to have a tough competition ahead of them, especially after they won the game already. So we're going to ride with USA, baby. Of course, that's the homeland. That's the home country. We always ride with USA. We're proud of where we're going, and I think the NHL is going to be a really good end of the season. I see where the Devils are. I see them pushing forward. I see, the Avalanche. I wish the Blackhawks were better. They're so fucking embarrassing, but I love the Blackhawks. So really excited to see kind of where everything goes in regards to all this, and going to try to get on here more and talk DYL Talks Sports, maybe get some guests on here, talk a little bit more podcasty style, talk back and forth, kind of get that answers. And I think that will really help me develop and grow the page. And I appreciate everyone that's been joining along, for the journey right now. I think I got like 10 subscribers right now. So continue to grow up, continue to grow that subscriber list and give you guys more what you want. And it doesn't have to be just sports. I love talking sports. We could talk video games. We could talk whatever you guys are feeling. But this is DYL Talks Sports. This was an episode, about NBA second half, LeBron All-Star Game weekend shenanigans, and then the 4 nations. So let's ride USA. Let's ride. I appreciate everyone joining along. I hope everyone has had a great long weekend. Hope everyone has a great week ahead. And God bless. Deuces.